Isaac is trying to restore power to the sprawl, and in order to do that, he's actually realigning these giant solar array mirrors. So he's actually catching the sun, redirecting it, and charging this massive beam. Not only does he have to do that, but once he's powered that thing up, he's got to get down there. And in order to do that, he hops in this crazy chair that propels him at like rocket speed, and he does this kind of halo jump as he navigates through all this debris, including busted up pieces of buildings, and in fact flies through an apartment building as he goes crashing down to the surface of the sprawl. And then there's this big epic fight in the transport hub where he's like blasting off sacks, shooting up dudes, nailing pukers to surfaces, avoiding snare attacks, just doing all kinds of, you know, Dead Space stuff. That was one of our goals from the start of Dead Space 2, was to enhance and kind of blow out the zero-G sequences. It felt like, you know, there was the point-to-point jumping aspect of it, so you didn't get that full, like, floaty feeling that you get in zero-G. And we wanted to kind of create more challenges with it. So we did want to include those moments where you are using it as a navigation tool, but also we wanted to just make sure it was more fun overall. The fact that you're in an airless environment, so you have that air timer counting down, which you still have in Dead Space 2. They made those areas scary, right? Like you were scared, you wanted to get back into the ship because you didn't know what was going to happen out there. So if we can kind of get that same feeling in a more, you know, open type of space, I think it's really going to be fun for players. We showed off the Puker today. We've seen him before, but we actually showed off one of his new attacks, which we've been playing around, which we're calling his snare attack. So you're actually able to get slowed down if he hits you with it. Also with the Puker, his projectile vomit attack actually can damage other enemies. So if players are clever, they're actually able to like dismember his limbs and then get all the spouty, vomity stuff shooting out of his limbs. It'll actually damage other necromorphs. Again, it's kind of another twist on the combat, letting players be more creative and inventive. Showed off the Nest, which was a zero-G enemy. It's kind of like this weird sacky thing that kind of opens up, opens up, and then this really creaturey looking gross lady comes out, and you've got to like blast off these sacks she's got on her arms. And we showed off the pack a little bit more, and a couple of other variants, a couple slasher variants. I think, you know, one of the things again about being out in space is it can be scary, and you've got the opportunity for things to be all around you. So you know, when we go out into the airless environments, generally we remove sound because we're trying to simulate what we perceive it to be like out there. So that kind of muffled, rumbly sound, yeah, I think that can be really scary and creepy. In terms of sound design, I think the guys really do focus on having some unique tells. So when you hear that kind of gurgling sound, for instance with the Puker, you should know, okay, one of them's around. Or you hear the sucking kind of sound of the cyst enemy, which we've shown off before, you know one of them is around, so you have to be really careful and look around for it. Dead Space 2 is coming out in North America on January 25th, and in Europe on January 28th, that's 2011. It's going to be available on PS360, that's PlayStation 3, 360, and personal computer.